Hi there, this is Dani and the channel is You and Me Living Free, and I am getting ready to board the shuttle in Albuquerque. I'm at the balloon festival. So people told me don't try to drive, plus I don't like crowds or anything, so I'm like, oh, there's a shuttle, yay. So getting ready to get on the shuttle, got my little ticket printed out, and let's do this. We're at the balloon festival, or we're going to the balloon festival, we're not there yet. Anyway, this is the parking lot if you can see it. You can totally tell I'm excited, right? So I took some video of loading up and the line and the buses, but hardly any of it turned out because it was so dark. It was 4 a.m. But here you can see some of the buses. There were probably 20 buses altogether. They were all lined up and side by side, and it was a pretty long line, but we got through it really quickly, got on the buses, got moving, and I was super happy with that. They have it very well organized. Just a quick little 20-minute ride on the bus and we were there. So I'm terrible with directions. So I took this picture right when we walked in the front gates so I could remember where I was so that I could go out the same way because we had to catch our shuttle. I thought I was being so smart and organized, but it turns out there were like 5 or 6 of these same cones throughout the event. So it didn't really help. Here's another picture I took to try to find my way, and there was another Dunkin' Donut booth that was at the other end of the event, so it didn't help either, but I did find my way just fine in case you were worried. So here we are at the event, and what you're seeing is the balloons are all on the ground. They have been semi-filled with air, and now they are putting in the heat, and they're starting to rise up off the ground, and here they are when they're in the full upright position. So you can only really see them when that flame is going, and then it lights them up from the inside. So this whole time they were kind of flickering on and off, but everyone is so excited because, you know, we got to this event so early, and to have this about maybe an hour, maybe 45 minutes or 30 minutes after we got there, these balloons start lighting up and everybody starts getting really excited. Because if you think about it, this event, the mass ascension begins officially at dawn, or let's say around 7 o'clock in the morning. So this is still 5:30, and this gives us something to break up the time so you're not just sitting there. But the time went by pretty quickly also, because when you walk up, you can find this great big opening and all these picnic tables, because there are so many food vendors and everything. People are sitting and eating, and people are sitting getting ready to watch the balloons. I didn't even know I'd be able to watch the balloons from this place when I sat down there. I was just sitting down to eat my breakfast burrito. But I walk up, there's a field, and they're full of picnic tables. The picnic tables looked full, but I was proud of myself because I actually went up to a table and I introduced myself and I asked if I could sit at that table. There were 2 couples. One couple was on one bench and they were taking up the whole bench, like they didn't want anybody else to sit there. But on the other side of the table was a couple, and they were sitting close together and there was enough room beside them. So I just asked them if I could sit with them, and they were nice enough to say yes. So I had conversation and everything the whole time. So that really made it very enjoyable. And here we are closing out the pre-dawn session because dawn is coming, and here are the next pictures. This is before the ascension really starts. You're starting to see some balloons really get filled up. The ground is starting to fill with these balloons, and we were in a unique position being at this event because you can literally walk around, and what they do is they have a truck and a trailer, and they bring out the basket and they put the basket upright and they put it all together, and then they pull the flame and they check it and make sure everything's working all right. Then they spread out these great big balloons and all the fabric, fill them with air, and then the heat, right? Well, you can just see them going together. You can see them as they start to blow up, and it's so fun to watch the shapes. And they're really coming to life right before your eyes. It's so cool because the first time we saw this armadillo, it was just on the ground sideways, and you could just see these blue pattern, this blue pattern, and you're wondering what it is, and then all of a sudden you can tell what it is. So you can see the armadillo and the fish as they come to life. Now they're big and they're getting ready to float off, and we will see them in flight as we go as they just get small as they float away. A lot of these pictures will give you an idea of how close we are. We're literally right there as they are filling the balloons and we see them go up. So isn't that pink unicorn so cute? But this black thing was a mystery. Okay, you see the huge black balloon, and it's got these, who knows what they are. Are they legs? Is it a monster of some kind? At first I thought it was going to be an octopus, but then there were more than 8 legs. So I was like, well, it can't be an octopus. What is it going to be? And I literally had no idea and just kind of sat there wondering. And I watched in wonder. I watched like I was a little kid, just fascinated with the whole process. I was walking around this place just in wonder and in awe and in so much joy just to watch it come together. It was different than I thought. I thought the experience was going to be watching these balloons from a distance, and that would have been amazing. But to be on the ground with them, see them come to life and be right there was the coolest thing. And we still don't know what this thing is. It's a lion. And those crazy things were the lion's mane. And it was so much fun to watch this one go up. This was a huge one. Another thing is some of them are just different sizes, and some of them are a little bit smaller than others. Some are enormous, but that was part of the fun because every single one was different. You can see we're in the ascension now, so there are just balloons off in the distance, and there are huge ones taking off every minute. And so this whole thing is in progress. Look at that. And if you look down in the distance, you can see a ton more getting ready to fly. And you see all those little dots in the sky, even in the distance, are different balloons, of course. Okay, this is kind of funny. Do you see the thing that looks like an acorn in front of the unicorn? I thought that was an acorn. I thought it was an acorn, and I thought, why would they have an acorn, right? It wasn't really making sense. And it turned out that it was actually Smokey the Bear. Of course, you probably, maybe you figured that out, but I didn't. Anyway, here's another thing. So whenever one would finally go up, we would all cheer and they would wave, and it was so much fun. You really felt like you were a special part of this one. Here's another one of my favorites, this green frog. This thing was enormous. You can see all the people around it. You can see it as bigger than a lot of the other balloons that are even close near to it. And so, look at those. So you're just looking up in the sky and you see all of these balloons, and they're all taking off and they're all floating away. And then right next to you is more balloons, and they're at various stages of being inflated, right? Because they can't do every single one at one moment. So the joy, another part of the joy of this experience was the fact that it was an ongoing experience. It wasn't just like 10 minutes of fun and it was amazing, or 20 minutes or even half an hour. This whole thing went on for 2 or 3 hours. And even the ones that left, I just love that frog. You can tell because there's so many pictures of the frog, but look at it. Look how small that basket is at the bottom and how enormous that frog is. It is just, and they're so masterful, especially the ones that are cut in different shapes and things. They're just magical. I felt like kind of maybe what a kid might feel like at Disneyland. Like I was really kind of in awe, and I can cry just right now thinking about how wonderful it was to be there. And look at that. There were over, I don't remember exactly how many balloons there were, but there were almost 600 balloons, I think. And so this is one of the biggest festivals in the whole world. It's an international festival. I think most people probably know that or have some awareness. But you can see that row of balloons, they just kind of did that. And they would kind of almost row by row kind of peel themselves away. And so there was always something launching. There was always something to look at. There was always a new one going up. But I wanted to share also that this was never a bucket list item for me. This was not something that I thought I was going to truly love as much as I ended up loving it. So let me really quickly tell you the story of how I got here. So I met a woman named Sharon on a trip in the spring. I met her on a Facebook group for solo female travelers. We became friends. She wanted to go to this and she was going to meet me. So I said, okay, I was already heading out west and this wasn't really out of the way. So I said yes, but I was hesitant at the same time. I wasn't looking forward to the crowds. I wasn't looking forward to fighting for parking and for space for myself and getting kind of knocked around as you kind of do when you're in a crowd. I don't like long lines. I don't like porta-potties. There's a whole lot I don't like. So I started doing some research about it and I started to get excited about going. I started to think, you know what? I can tolerate anything. It's only a few hours. The whole event was like 5 or 6 hours. I thought it's less than one full day. If I psych myself up and if I'm excited, then I can look at it as an adventure and I can deal with the crowds, deal with the noise, deal with all of those things, you know, that I would rather not for the experience of it. Plus I thought, you know, this is a bucket list item for a lot of people. Maybe there's something to it. Maybe I'll enjoy it more than I think. And it'll be a good visual for the channel, for taking pictures. I'll make it fun, is what I thought. Then it turns out my friend Sharon couldn't come. But by the time she backed out, I was already getting excited. I was already looking forward to it. And so I decided I'm going to go anyway. And I am so glad I did. Look at these pictures of Yoda and Darth Vader. This stuff took me back to my childhood because I was a kid when the first Star Wars movie came out. My dad took me and my sister to see them. I've seen every Star Wars movie, of course. This was a huge deal, but it's just another thing that brought out the little kid in me. Seeing Darth Vader go up in the air was so much fun. And watching it just get blown up step by step and then seeing it actually lift off and cheering with everybody was such a treat. I'm going to tell you, when I was walking around here, I did not care that there were these huge crowds. I think there were probably close to 200,000 people at this thing on this bright, beautiful morning. And I didn't care. It wasn't like I was alone, but I was like tuned into different things. The crowds didn't bother me. The noise didn't bother me. The porta potty, the lines, the prices. I didn't care about any of that stuff. I was like a kid walking around here. I was excited. I was in joy. I was in wonder. I was in curiosity, looking around, seeing what was next, watching stuff go up, seeing it unfold and come alive before my eyes, watching all the balloons drift away and the sheer number of them and the sheer beauty and the designs of so many of them are so gorgeous and so innovative. This section here is actually, these balloons are smaller. I don't know if you can tell, the scale got smaller, but they are radio operated. And so they stayed pretty much in this area. Look how vibrant and beautiful that is. But these are radio operated. So those baskets are actually small, just a couple of feet in diameter, and they make them look like little baskets. So they're cute. But anyway, they were, it was easier almost to take pictures with them because of the scale seemed to make more sense. I took a picture of a couple of the officers on horseback. They were kind of directing us. As I said, we were out in the field as the balloons were going out. But what happens is the balloons go up, go over, and then come down and around and land in much the same place that they went up. So these officers were really shooing us back, making room for the return of the balloons. And that was kind of cool. I don't know if I've seen an officer on horseback before. Maybe in movies, but not in real life. So anyway, what a joyful experience. I can't say enough. I think I spent $25 for the admission for the Balloon Fest and the shuttle together were only like $25, which was an amazing deal. To have this experience for that was incredible. And then, of course, I spent way too much on a breakfast burrito and on, drinks and things like that. But seriously, put into perspective, for an event that I will remember for the rest of my life, that was a pretty good deal. I have zero complaints. But honestly, I was leaving and I really thought, you know what? I never need to go back. Now that I've experienced it, I feel like I can kind of check it off. Not that it was ever on a list to begin with. Maybe something like maybe in 10 years or something, to see if there are new balloons and just to check out what changes in that time maybe. But I'm good. Like, I have done it, and I'm so happy that I did. And you made it to the end of another video. You deserve a medal. Thank you so much for being here, and I will catch you next time. This doesn't really have any place in the video, but I just wanted to kind of share a couple little things, which is, number one, I took more pictures and I took more video of this event than I have of anything else I have ever done, no matter what it is. This is the most material I've ever had. And I spent more time putting these clips together in what I hoped was something that would make sense, because I would flash to one scene and I would see, the armadillo and the fish going up, and then I would flash to another scene and you see a whole group of balloons go up in the air, and I was flashing back and forth, and I really tried to put it together so that it made kind of sense and tried to support the story, but you can just tell. I know videography is not my strong suit, but I spent more effort and more time putting together this video, but honestly, even it is pure joy. Every part of this process is joy for me. And I made a commitment to myself when I took these 12 months off that I wouldn't do anything that I wasn't in joy with, that I wouldn't force myself. And I haven't. And I just thank you so much for being a part of it. That if you are still around, I am sending you so much love right now. I'm sending you love from me to you. I hope you can feel it. And now I really am done. Completely done. Bye for now.